Let those who read these verses consider them profoundly. Let the profane and ignorant herd keep away, and far away all astrologers, idiots, and barbarians. May he who does otherwise be subject to the sacred right. Oh, well, actually, it means he curses them. That's what Nostradamus wrote uh, in his book of prophecy. And I wanted to read that first because if I'm gonna talk about Nostradamus, you're probably gonna, think I'm gonna interpret him and talk about the end of the world or something like that, or talk about some conspiracy theory stuff or something. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not really into that kind of stuff. And I'm not gonna do that because if I were to, then I probably would be one of those fools he was just referring to. Uh, and I don't want to do that because I don't want to be cursed by him. So I'm not going to interpret him. Um, but there are some interesting um, verses that he wrote. Actually, those are the most famous one too, and the most, you know, uh, they have been the most abused because some people said, "Oh yeah, that was referring to 9/11," and it actually wasn't referring to 9/11, and the date was wrong. So they were just changing the dates a little and cha- putting a little out of context and putting that in and changing it around and so yeah, messing it up totally. So in the end, oh yeah, it's referring to 9/11. After we changed all the words and stuff. So probably that's what he was referring to, with, astrologers and stuff. And he probably doesn't want you to do that kind of stuff. He doesn't want you to interpret them. And I'm not gonna do that. But it just I'm gonna read the most famous lines from him, and then you can think about it yourself. Um, so um, in the year 1999, 7 months from the sky will come a great king of terror, in order to bring back to life the great king of the Mongols. Before and after that, Mars reigns in order to bring people temporary luck. Actually, it says um, an hour of luck. So an hour of luck that kind of means temporary luck. So I said temporary luck. Um, the present time together with the past will be judged by the great clown. In some translations, this is translated as great joker, but I'm not gonna say great joker because then you're all gonna say, "Oh yeah, he he was referring to the Batman movie." He wasn't. So the present time together with the past will be judged by the great clown. The world too late will be tired of him, and through the clergy oath-taker disloyal. So that basically means that that clown made them disloyal. Um, the the year of the great seventh number accomplished, it will become obvious at a time of the games of mass slaughter. Actually, could also refer to genocide, because at that time there wasn't really a word for genocide. What he used was hectacombe, and hectacombe was mass slaughtering that took place in those ancient Greek Olympic stadiums. So they were, putting hundreds of animals or something into those stadiums, Olympic stadiums and stuff, those ancient Greek and Roman arenas or whatever you call them, um, Olympic stadiums, like the ancient ones. And they're putting hundreds of animals in there and we're slaughtering. That's what hectacombe means. That's the original French word he used. So I think the best translation is probably mass slaughter, but it's mass slaughter that took place in those ancient stadiums, ancient arenas. But you could also say genocide, because he was not referring to animals here. He was referring to humans, and that will become obvious in the next sentence when he says, "Not far from the great epoch or great." Here it says great millennial age, great era. something like that. Not far from the Great Era, when the buried uh, will rise out of the graves, or will go out from the tombs. It says here, rise out of the graves. Um, so I think that kind of makes it obvious that he was referring to humans. Um, so maybe you could say genocide. Um, so I'm gonna put this translation to the right. It's not the best translation. It's not very close to the French, but it's the best translation I could find. I'm not gonna say more about it. Actually, I just read it and I explained a few words which have two meanings. Um, so you can think about it yourself. Uh, so yeah, just something to think about. And if you don't want to think about it, then don't think about it. Anyway, I didn't talk about the end of the world, and I didn't interpret anything into it. It's just something interesting to think about.